Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hour of Power podcast. My name is Knighton Thompson, and as always, I am joined by the beautiful, the handsome, the enjoyable Mr. Oh, look at them biceps.
I'm ready
Ooh,
for
look at it.
power.
How
That's all
you
I
been,
got.
buddy?
Well, I've seen better days. My work has been crazy lately. We talk about it usually, and usually it's a busy thing, but UPS, they're going out of business and everything. So my hours have drastically changed. I'm working some strange hours right now, but we're getting this podcast out to our audience. And yeah, that's just about it, man. Just kind of adjusting to life's little surprises.
Yeah, life is nothing short of surprises. I've seen them myself. And in your 40 something years of being on this godforsaken fucking earth, you've seen a
Yep.
thing or two.
Yes. I think after a while, you become adaptable to these sorts of things. But here I am, and I've got more time to work on the podcast. There's a plus. So
Yeah,
I'm
that is true.
excited about that.
Yeah, life is fucking weird, dude.
Absolutely. And this episode, I thought, was not weird. How about that? How about that
I
for a
do agree with
segue?
that. I will say it's weird seeing a pay-per-view basically broken up into multiple segments,
Yes.
but honestly this was done very well. And I the matchups that they had on the first show were very good. It's a very good showing of a lot of the talent. And I know NWA has been on CW for what, months now?
About 3 months now. Yep.
But new viewers are still constantly tuning in, and they even hit on it. And in the first match, excuse me. Hey, for new viewers that are just tuning in, this is what the NWA is about.
Yes.
And that to me felt like a really good. This show felt like a really good showing of the talent that they have, the ability that a lot of the superstars have, and just it puts eyes onto the product, which is
Yep.
honestly needed.
I agree.
Because, I mean, let's get right into match number one. Hell, Colby Corino and Joe Alonzo for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title. I need to stay the fuck off Twitter.
Yeah. The same thing happened to me before I was able to really catch the episode. It was right there on the NWA page right there. Big congratulations to... We'll get to that.
Mr. Gonna tickle the taint, but not finish. See what you did there?
Just a bit. Oh, man, the class of humor that we've got. My God. Hey, shout out. Speaking of humor, shout out to Kayfabe Soup. What's the exact handle on that on IG?
Fuck, I gotta look it up now.
Oh, God. I'm bad. All right. We got a little bit of dead time. But anyways, shout out to him. He's put out some hilarious content. And he gets our humor, I feel like. And
Kayfabe Soup.
he also likes to trash AEW like we like to trash AEW. And speaking of trashing AEW, let's trash AEW for this breaking news right here. Right in the middle of this fucking matchup on NWA Power. We're going to talk right about AEW releasing the footage of CM Punk and Jungle Boy's fucking fight, whatever you want to call that. What the fuck? I just could not believe when I heard this announcement months and months later. He's been gone from the company forever. But all of a sudden, you want to put all of this out and try to make money off CM Punk again. And I'm just like, really? How fucking petty can we be? He watched the interview with CM Punk and he thought, you know what? I don't like that disrespect. I'm going to teach you a lesson. He doesn't really talk like that. It was more of like a coked out fucking spoiled brat fucking billionaire son, but whatever. Okay. I was such a fan of Tony Khan's whenever AEW first came out. I really was. I defended the guy a lot. And over the course of X amount of months and the leadership that he has shown in AEW and the continuity and storylines, and then this petty bullshit, you are now officially a douchebag.
Like I've said for months and months and months, AEW is nothing more than WCW, and you cannot fucking argue with me on this. I have said this for the longest fucking time, that company is such a shit show, and they just shell out money left and fucking right.
I see the similarities, but they're so much different in a lot of ways. The storylines are way better in WCW, and they had bigger star power, I feel like, in WCW. I feel like the star power at the time was bigger than what they've been able to bring in. I thought CM Punk had that real star mentality enough to be like your guy, your John Cena, your Roman Reigns, your Hulk Hogan. WCW's day, Sting, maybe Hogan at some point, Luger, maybe Flair, of course. Who could forget NWA, Flair, Harley Race? Could he be that guy? Yes, but that didn't work out.
No,
So yeah,
and the other problem was they had a countdown to it of when, hey, this is exactly when it's going to air. And from what I've read on social media, granted, I don't trust a lot of fucking social media at all. I really don't. But from what I read is basically the viewership was so fucking terrible. And then when that expose happened, they're like, oh, time to tune in. Boop. And then as soon as it was done, they went and did other things. It's like, congrats.
I am starting to learn that it is merely great matches was, one or two, three major storylines. The storylines usually aren't very captivating. And there's not consistency in the characters, meaning people are trying to heel face differently every week. I cannot keep up with the Combat Club or whatever the fuck. I can't keep up with them because their heels one week, then their faces, heels, faces. I'm like, dude, like Daniel Bryan or Bryant Danielson. I couldn't tell you if he's a face or a heel now because it's like every time I tune in, it's something different. So there's no consistency in the characters. And like I said, the top storylines to me aren't really drawing. I mean, you got Dustin Rhodes challenging out of nowhere for the AEW World Title. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. You have Sasha Banks, Monet, or whatever. You got her challenging for the AEW Women's Championship. So tell me, Knighton, if you've got her, she's never had one match here, and you've got Dustin Rhodes, who I know doesn't have a stellar win-loss record. Why do you keep up with wins and losses and rankings? Why do you do rankings and wins and losses if you're going to do that? And that right there is why WWE does not keep records and they do not do all that ranking bullshit. So they have an excuse to bring a big star, and if they want to put the title on them or put them in a title match, they can. And that way it doesn't look logically stupid. But I like the rankings. I like the win-loss records. But you've got to be consistent about it. You can't go against it because then they're pointless, right?
That is very true. I that's why I've never fucking tuned into it. And I don't fucking care. As far as I'm concerned, listen, at this point, it's people like WWE, which is their vanilla. People like AEW, which is chocolate. I like fucking NWA, which is strawberry. And you know what? I watch what I watch. I like what I like. Anything else can fuck right off.
Yes, I understand
And
that.
like, I never understood the fucking hype of AEW. I never did, and I never will. Not one fuck is given when it comes to that company. I would rather watch two turtles fuck in a corner for 3 hours.
Hey, I've watched
That
turtles fuck, and that's something. It's like a God. It's like a
oh,
big fat dude on top of a gigantic woman, and just every once in a while there's motion. I know it's gone off the rails. We haven't even started. We haven't even
oh,
finished the first match. All right.
we didn't even get into it. All right,
Wow.
let's fucking actually get into this
Okay.
shit.
All right. All
But
right.
yeah,
All right.
this match was spoiled for me when I went on Twitter, and I was pissed because I use Twitter for two things: baseball and certain wrestling. This was the first fucking. I was like, God damn it. Well, at least I know the outcome of this match. But I will say, despite knowing the outcome of the match, this was a really good match. Once again, Colby Corino and Joe Alonzo putting on a hell of a match. I mean, hell, they did it back at Sawin, and they continued it at Hard Times.
Very quick paced. It was very back and forth. I've always sung the praises of Joe Alonzo. He is a star in the making. I think you're starting to see that now. And, eventually, got to get the title off Colby Corino. He's kind of just chasing his tail at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, going into that match, he had 31 successful title defenses.
That's what I mean by that. I remember the commentary mentioning that, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, that. It's time. It's time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at that point, basically, Colby's gone. I've done all I can do. What's next?
Right.
I've beaten anybody and everybody that has come in my path. It was just due time. But, I mean, these guys just fucking went at it. I really enjoyed the beginning of this match when Joe goes for a handshake. I was like, Colby, don't do it because he's going to try and sneak it. And Colby kicks his hand away and was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not falling for that.
Then
I remember
drops Joe.
Solomon.
Yep. Then drops Joe with a drop kick. Colby has the early advantage. An impressive spot was when Colby hits the Tiger Driver.
Yes.
I was like,
that was a beautiful Tiger Driver too.
I know, not often do I really see the Tiger Driver, and it's one of those moves that is just like, it's good to see when it's in the right timing. Because if it just comes out of nowhere, it feels a little awkward, but the Tiger Driver here was well placed.
Yep.
Joe rolls out of the ring, and Colby goes diving, but crashes into the guardrail. Joe throwing Colby into
spot.
Hitting the side ribs on the freaking railing. Oh, God, no.
Yeah, I felt for him on that one. I just remember that spot just being like, I actually kind of turned my head when watching it. I was like, ooh, that looked brutal because he looked like he went right into the steel railing, and it's the old school steel railing. It's no barricade or whatever you want to call it. So it looked brutal. There was no give in the steel railing. Yep.
And then when Joe goes to throw Colby right into the steps, it was like, all right, you got one spot where Colby hits hard on the railing and then just kind of falls flat towards the steps because it like barely moves.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I got a good giggle out of that, but a couple other spots that were really good. Joe hitting the springboard axe handle right onto Colby's throat.
Yeah.
Joe goes high risk, but Colby goes for a superplex. And instead, Colby goes throat first onto the top rope when Joe reversed it. Joe attempting a springboard, but Colby hits a springboard Russian leg sweep. And that one looked a little difficult to hit, but he pulled it off.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed. I was like,
Yeah, this was a very athletic style match that, like, in NWA, you get a lot of brutes just beating on each other, right? Like, big dudes just beating the hell out of each other. And then you have a great women's division, great tag division. And then you get, your heavyweights like EC3 and Matt Cardona around that body type, even North, or I'm sorry, what is it? The national heavyweight championship. Those guys are a bigger set of guys. So you don't have a ton in this division, in my opinion. You have some great talent that's in this division. So I feel like this was the right call to have Joe go over here. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from here. Maybe Colby even gets bumped up to try to go for the television title, or maybe he comes back after. We got to see a rubber match between him and Joe. That would be great too. But it looks like on social media, from what I'm seeing, is that he's building up some kind of a feud with the guy that we saw last week that graduated from the dungeon.
Mo Jabari.
Mo Jabari. Yeah, that name's going to be hard for me to remember. Mo Jabari. But the more we see of him, I'm sure we'll get more familiar with him, because it looks like he's about to start feuding with Joe.
Oh, shit.
What's that?
This is not relevant to the NWA, but
Breaking news?
O.J. Simpson has passed away at age 76.
Wow.
Slicing up that white meat. Fucking love that meme. There's a picture of him carving a turkey, and I share it every fucking Thanksgiving.
So you do feel like he murdered?
I wasn't fucking alive when it happened, so I don't give a fuck. if the glove don't fit, you must quit. There's only three things that I remember from.
I would say about 80% of the public believe that that he did it. And I would be one of the 80%.
I got no dog in the fight. I don't know everything, but Joe picking up the victory here was 100% the right go-to.
Yes, absolutely.
Like we stated, what is next for Colby if he retained?
Who's in this division? You got Alex Misery, you got Mecha Wolf, you've got
Mo Jabari,
you've got Joe Alonzo, and you've got Colby Carino, correct?
I would say,
and then the guy from Yabo the clown.
Oh, Yabo, yep,
Yabo the clown. I mean, I guess you can put him in there too.
And then there's a couple people that I feel could possibly fit in that junior heavyweight division. I would say possibly Daisy Kill could fit in there.
I was say Daisy Kills, yeah. He would be a great one, actually.
I think Rolando could do really well in the junior heavyweight.
Yes,
I'm not mistaken.
Especially if he were to get help from the Spectaculars as well, and kind of, he could bring some comic relief to that division too. The guy's actually a really good worker. He's I'm trying to think. Florida and Georgia, I believe, is where, and Alabama, Tennessee, a little bit, are some of the hot spots he was kind of like came up through before signing.
I've definitely seen a lot of his work on Instagram. That's the one thing I will say that I love about social media is you can find a lot of clips from people's prior matches or matches that happened recently or years ago. Rolando is very good in the ring.
Yes.
Despite what he might put on as the show for the Spectaculars.
Yeah, he's a character, yeah.
He's very good.
I'd like to see him smash Eric Smalls, actually. That'd be great. Just beat the hell out of him.
I'm sure he can do it.
I wouldn't mess with him, and he's smaller than me.
Fucking have you tied up in a pretzel 7 ways till Sunday and twice on Sunday.
Oh, no, hell no. I want to have him on the podcast. I hear he's a fan. So,
which is quite surprising because we're a bunch of fucking idiots on here.
We're funny to laugh at, not with.
I can't argue with that sentiment. I
Yeah,
can't. I really can't.
yeah.
But this was a very good opening match. Once again, Joe Alonso and Colby Carino just burning the house down and really setting a high precedent for what's to come. Because it happened with Sawin and it happened with Hard Times.
Yes, excellent matchup. I'm glad Joe came out the winner here. He deserves it. And maybe we'll see this match again down the line.
I surely hope so.
Yes.
Match number 2, La Rosa Negra and Ruthie J versus Tiffany Nieves and Rekka Tahaka.
This did not go how I thought it was going to go down.
No.
It was out of nowhere for me. Um, I've seen Tiffany, or not Tiffany, her partner's name, Rekka. I've seen her live like 2 or 3 times. She's always, I mean, she had a different name in Indies, but I've seen her a few times. She towers over a lot of these women. I was hoping we would get some dynamic to where they do form a team, her and Tiffany, and she just towers over all these women and kind of beats the hell out of them. And Tiffany kind of rides off her coattails. She's still, to me, she's still kind of green a little bit, even though she's been doing this for a while. But she's very much got a presence about her. And I hate how she was booked this week, to be honest with you. But let's get into the match first.
So Ruthie J and Tiffany Nieves start off the match. They continue the little history going there of the last 2 times that Tiffany and Ruthie were in the same ring together going off. Tiffany has picked up the victory both times. And Ruthie actually goes on the offense first and gets in a few good hits. Tiffany then stomps on Ruthie's toes and then goes immediately for the tag. There absolutely was no love lost between Rekka and Tiffany. Yelling at each other off the rip, and Tiffany's like, you need to go in there and just dominate.
Yeah.
Ruthie hits a drop kick and running knees in the corner, then tags La Rosa. And apparently this is her return to the NWA after a nasty car accident in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I heard that on commentary.
I was
So
like,
it's good to have her back. She's been gone for a whole entire year.
yeah, and especially with the injury that she had, which I think was and don't quote me on it, a broken hip?
Ouch.
Yeah,
Well,
fuck that.
she was certainly moving her hips pretty good.
Yeah. And, La Rosa gets tagged in. Rekka gets a bit of a beat down. The elbows from La Rosa looked nasty. I was like, nope, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Ruthie then comes in, hits some knees to the back of Rekka. Rekka reverses an Irish whip, and Tiffany gets a hold of Ruthie and starts just beating down, but Ruthie's able to break free. Rekka is then forced to tag out. Tiffany just gets a hot sneak tag. Tiffany goes for a pin, but only gets a 1 count. Then Rekka comes back in, gets a bit of offense in. And this is the part where I was like, okay, maybe we're going to see a little bit from Rekka and get some offense from her. Rekka stops the tag to La Rosa from Ruthie. And Ruthie then gets put into the Tree of Woe. And Tiffany and Rekka were just unloading. I was like, I hate being in a Tree of Woe, but when you got one person, it's bad enough. Now you got 2, and you don't know where you're going to stop the offense coming from. Tiffany hits another sneak tag, and then a bit of a meeting of the minds with Tiffany and Ruthie. I hate any heads colliding. It sucks. But
Oh, yeah.
And then La Rosa and both teams hit the hot tag. La Rosa's coming in like a house on fire. They go at it for a bit. Ruthie hits knees to the face of Rekka, and La Rosa goes high risk, covers the distance, and La Rosa Negra and Ruthie J pick up the victory by pinning Rekka. And I was a little disappointed that Rekka didn't get in a lot of offense because she is, like you stated, she towers over everybody. And it was just kind of maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Missed opportunity here. Even if you want to look at it as far as like creating depths to your tag division, your women's tag division, which there's not a ton of women tag teams. I mean, I'm impressed by the teams that are in there, but it's not a deep division. So when I heard there was 2 women tag matches this week, I'm like, oh wow, they're really going to create some depth within their women's tag divisions and create multiple contenders is what I thought. I thought, man, coming out of this, they just really go together, Tiffany and Rika. They just kind of like, they just mesh well together. They look like a tag team. Not that, and Ruthie J and
La
oh my
Rosa.
God, I'm having a brain fart.
La Rosa.
La Rosa. They look like a tag team too. They just kind of, I mean, I was excited. We were going to have some depth finally to the women's tag division. And you squandered that.
I would say,
then you squandered pushing someone new and making a star out of them because they've got a star presence. They look like a star. They've got the moves good enough to, be a star. You just got them. The only thing I can figure out is that we're getting a side feud here. Or maybe they'll tag together and then they split up again. But I don't know. I was disappointed by the outcome.
I think it comes
It's a good
with
match,
time.
though, for what it was worth. I mean, it's decent.
I think with time, you'll see a little bit more between the 4 of these women. Because, I mean, Ruthie J and La Rosa, they looked really cohesive.
Yes, they did.
And with Tiffany and Rekka not getting on the same page and arguing back and forth, I think you've got a feud there.
I got to imagine the King Bees against them, Ruthie J and La Rosa. I mean, that would be a very, very athletic matchup. Or even Ruthie J and La Rosa against Pretty Empowered. That's also a great matchup. So at least you got that. They were the tag team I thought it was just going to be a makeshift tag team, a one-time thing. But now they come out looking like the actual tag team versus, I mean, their opponents. Their opponents look like they're splitting up. Only their first time being together, I think. I can't remember if we've seen them on previous weeks. I don't think we have.
I don't recognize Rekka at all. So I think with due time, you'll see more. What the hell? You'll see more of the 2 women. So
Delight.
The light.
It's all nasty and dark. We're here in North Georgia. It's been gross ass weather.
That ain't anybody here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Match number 3, and this was actually a little bit better than I expected.
What we got?
Spencer Slade versus Magic Jake Dumas.
2 great mid-carders. They're trying to push a little bit.
I'm going to let you do some talking about this match. What is your opinions of this match, and what did you think?
I mean, there wasn't much to this match. It's a little bit of a throwaway match, but at the same time, I think they're trying to, just establish your kind of mid-carders. It was a cold match. You know what I'm saying? There's not really much to say about this match or to even review about this match. It was just a cold match. It was just a match. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like they're pushing Magic Jake anytime soon, which, I don't know, something about his character really, it resonates. I'll just say that. And you kind of, as a fan of his stuff, I kind of want to see them push him a little bit more than Slade. But hey, uh, it was what it was. I was confused, like who's the face, who's the heel in this match, because they both are kind of heels, right? So they're booing Magic Jake when he first comes out, but then when Rolando gets involved, he's dancing on the apron and shit. They start really booing the Spectaculars and cheering Magic Jake. So it kind of like switched within the match. But I just thought it was a cold match. There wasn't much to this. If you're reading more into this match, I'm curious to hear your opinion of this match. But not much to this. Just two good mid carders trying to establish them as characters here on Power to our audience, and not much to that. Now, I'm wondering if this will lead to possibly, and I'm probably reading way too much into this, a Spectaculars and Magic Inc. feud. That would be cool. I'd love to see CJ put Rolando in an armbar or something. That would be great, right?
It would be. I think you are reading a little too much into it.
Probably.
Because, we haven't seen Cody in months at this point. And, to your
Where
point
has he
of,
been? I wonder if he's hurt or if
I don't
he's
know. I
done.
haven't seen him. He usually used to post a lot on social media, but I haven't seen hide or hair of him, which is kind of weird. But when Jake came out, they really didn't do much. But then when the match started, the crowd was actually cheering for Jake.
Yes.
Because you could hear Magic Jake,
Mhm.
Magic Jake.
Yeah, I could vaguely hear. So I didn't know what they were saying, but I was like, who are they chanting for? But obviously, towards the end of the match, they were definitely for Magic Jake. So,
Oh, yeah. Because, at the beginning, these two guys locking horns, they were like bulls. And the ref had to get in between them to break the collar and elbow tie up.
yeah.
And then they lock up again. Jake takes control, but then Slade reverses it, hits a takedown, and basically reverts to his old habits of amateur wrestling. Has nice takedowns, has nice control. Rolando getting on the apron and getting involved. I was like, there's definitely going to be a lot more involvement from Rolando because it's absolutely needed. And Jake clapping freaking Slade's bell. You could see Slade was just like, oh.
And
They
he had the
nobody
wrestling
like
headgear on and shit.
fucking slapped in the ears.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Jake hitting a nice atomic drop and then a nice TKO too.
Yeah.
They go a little bit back and forth. Jake attempts abracadabra, but Slade gets out. They go outside of the ring, and Rolando gets in Jake's face. Slade runs Jake right into the side of the ring, and my friggin' worry was when they got onto the apron and Jake had Slade up. I legitimately thought Slade was going to get dumped on the floor.
Yeah, I did too. That was kind of a scary spot there.
And that would have been oh fuck moment. Because that's pure concrete. But then Jake throws him into the ring. And Rolando coming in clutch, getting up on the top rope with Jake's hat, and Jake getting pissed. And the really? And the super avalanche slam from Slade was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was a great finish to the match, I thought.
It gave Slade a little bit of chutzpah that he needed.
Yes.
Granted, he really didn't need a lot of it, but it helped. Because Jake losing, it isn't going to hurt him. Jake still has his shot at the TV title.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They did bring that up in commentary as well.
And it's just a matter of when is he going to use it.
Yeah.
And I surely hope
when it's off
soon.
Max the Impaler.
The fucking understatement of the year.
Yeah.
But all in all, this was a very good match to watch. like you said, it was cold, but it wasn't disappointing.
No, it's establishing all these young talents that when you think of NWA, you're going to start to think of a Slade, a Magic, Jake, or a Thrillbilly, and these are like they're looked at as NWA guys, like they've came and Mims even. These are NWA originals somewhat. Nobody's really an original, right? Everybody starts out somewhere that you never even heard of. Um, so yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine, and it's good to get them some TV exposure and get that mid card and that kind of that those people or whatever. They need the push. They need to be on here. They need to be on TV. They need the exposure. They need the practice. I could go on for days. Put them in there. It was a good match. But it's just mainly just building your mid card up. I feel like I really hope I'm wrong, kind of though, and it wasn't just that. Maybe we do get a spectaculars and Magic Inc. match. I want to see that.
I mean, I'm not going to be
with
disappointed
CJ,
if we do.
out there, beating up Rolando. Just, I'd like to see it.
Mostly just because you want to see CJ.
Well, I'm not going to complain. I mean,
well,
you got potato salad, and then with the walnuts and the
Sorry, Bruce. We find it funny.
Bruce.
Match number 4. This did not disappoint. This far exceeded my expectations, honestly. The King Bees versus Pretty Empowered in the Pretty Match. 2 out of 3 falls for the NWA Women's Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, we knew this would probably steal the show, but then Joe Alonzo and Colby Carino was awesome. So I don't know. That's tough. What was the match of what was the match of the show for you?
Uh-oh, hold on.
Yeah, you can always reveal it after the
Okay.
This was a really good match though. Killer Bees, Killer Bees. God damn it.
King Bees.
King Bees. It's too much like the Killer Bees. Anyways, so, King Bees. Go ahead.
To your prior question of what did I think my match of the night was?
Yes.
It is very, very difficult because I really liked the opener and I really liked the main event.
Yeah.
Those 2 matches were like 1A and 1B. I really can't pick because they were both really damn well done. Because, I mean, right off the rip in the main event, Ella Envy and Danny B start off the match. Ella shoves Danny, and Danny just hits a schoolgirl and picks up fall number 1.
Yeah. You often see that in 2 out of 3 fall matchups. The first fall is usually some kind of bullshit.
I really, not often do I see it.
Mine is saying reconnect. I mean, you don't see a lot of 2 out of 3 fall matchups these days anyway, so. But man, yeah, first fall came right out of nowhere. It was a good way to start off the match, in my opinion. I like that. I like that call.
Oof. Apparently somebody's in the audience. I wonder if it's Kara. I just got a notification that says 2 people are in recording, 1 in audience. So it's probably Kara, possibly. I don't know. Somebody. But, where the hell were we?
No, we're talking about the main event. How great it was and how that first fall came out of nowhere at the beginning. It was a great way to start out the match. And that's where we're left off.
Kylie gets tagged in and Danny stays in. Danny hits a nice crossbody. Kylie gets right up, hits a chop and a takedown. Danny gets hit with the tag by Charity, and then Charity hits a splash. Danny comes right back in. And Danny and Charity hit a nice double vertical. I'm always a sucker for tag team moves. I love tag team wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I get to see teams working together in tandem to focus on one person, it's nice to see. Um,
Some of the tag teams in AEW could actually take notes from the King Bees and Pretty Empowered. They actually use the tag rules, though. I mean, it's just fundamentals that these four women, they know how to do tag wrestling, and I like that. Even though they're very young, um, it's cool to see that they respect the rules to tag team wrestling. They're not in there the entire time. Yeah, they come in and double team, but then they're right back out. I kind of noticed that about this match. I enjoyed this match a lot.
oh yeah, the way that these four women respect the rules of how a tag match should be done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care if it's 2 out of 3 falls, a tornado, or a standard tag match. They understand how to play to the psychology.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm sure if this got clipped, Mims would be like, and that's what we do best in the NWA, because he did it the last time when we talked about psychology. But they just know how to get the job done. They know how to tell stories. And, you know, Kylie stomping the hell out of Danny, and Kylie goes and tags Ella in. Ella hits a nice boot, and then Kylie and Ella come in and they hit the double hip attack and then start shaking their butts right in front of Danny, right in front of her face.
Yes.
Um, Ella then Irish whips Danny into the corner. Danny went to the top but got caught. Ella hits a fall away. Kylie knocks Charity off the apron. Kylie then hits Danny with a drop kick straight in the kisser, which looked fucking brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like they got a great camera shot right when the feet like hit the face. So it was like, ooh.
Yeah, you're just sitting there, you're just like, no grazie.
Yeah.
But then Kylie goes for the pin and picks up the victory. It is all tied at 1. And I was like, okay, now this is where it begins.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's 1-1. Both teams are going to be busting their ass. And sure as hell, these women put on a damn good showing. And you can try and argue with me. I will fucking defend it till I'm purple in the face. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying you specifically, like anyone who was like, the match was okay. No, fuck you.
No, this is a
Was
great
a
match.
damn good match.
Yep.
The first showing, these four women put on a hell of a show. When the King Bees won the title at Revolution Live, they put on a hell of a show. And now, at Hard Times, these women have put on a hell of a show. These women can go.
I saw it live, and I never heard of the King Bees ever. And I told you it was probably my best match of the taping because I had no expectations going into it, and I was like, oh my god! As far as like getting the crowd involved, even in a TV taping atmosphere, they were able to get the crowd involved, and it was just it's just both teams are very very talented, and we're very lucky as NWA fans to have them here in NWA. I feel like because I'm surprised, and I'm sure other people are knocking down their doors once they see this. If you've got a women's tag division, I mean, you got to have these two teams in there because, man, they were very, very impressive tonight. It was my match of the night. I do believe it was a little bit better than Joe Alonzo and Carino, but I mean, not to say that was a great match too, but this was great. I always love a great 2 out of 3 falls match if it's booked correctly, and this one was booked correctly.
Yeah, this was done very, very well. Because, I mean, once the third fall hit, both teams were just fighting and vying to be, hey, this is why we should be the tag champs.
Yes,
Because, I mean,
absolutely.
a couple of good spots out of this third fall. Charity hitting a nice release, fisherman suplex. Charity then hitting a Samoan drop, going for the cover, but Kylie was able to break it up at 2. Kylie dragging Ella to the corner so Kylie could tag herself in. Kylie goes to run at Charity. Instead, Danny meets Danny, who hits the knees. Um, this was a clever spot as well. As soon as Charity hits the slam and goes for the cover, Danny's like standing behind Charity defending. Ella pushes Danny right into Charity and Kylie and breaks up the pin.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that. That
Yeah, that
was
was a cool spot.
clever usage of surroundings and personnel. Because it's like,
Yes.
oh, like if Pretty Empowered would have picked up the victory. Oh, because you were standing behind me and you got pushed into me, that's the reason we lost.
Mm-hmm.
That could be used, to build some tension between the two. But Danny
Yeah,
goes.
you have a lot of potential coming out of this match, and just the division's continuing to grow. We've got at least 2 other tag teams. The one might be splitting up here pretty soon, but with these 4 girls, I mean, you can always circle back around to this. Pretty Empowered feuds, with Ruthie J and La Rosa for a little bit, and then you go back to that. I mean, there's a lot to play with there. Obviously, you could plant the seeds of some of these other, some of these women tag teams splitting up. I wouldn't. Personally, if you want to have women's tag team titles, you got to build that division and have at least not a ton of teams, really. 5, 6 teams, something like that.
That's what I was just about to say. I was like, if you have 5 or 6 solid teams that can be interchangeable and go, you're going to do really well in the long run. Because if you have only
Yes.
1 or 2, it really tends to struggle with the tag team division. Because, I mean, you see it in other companies where there's only 2 or 3 women's tag teams, and you got, okay, we have the title on one team, and then there's 2 other teams that go at it. You're gonna get bored of seeing these matchups real quick. Granted, we've seen the King Bees and Pretty Empowered go at it 3 times since November. I'm not sick of it.
No, but you do have to present some new contenders now. Pretty Empowered have gotten their chance, and it's like I said, you can circle back to this and make it, and it'll still be interesting and somewhat fresh once you circle back to it. But yeah, great main event. Pretty damn good episode of Power as far as in-ring. So I'm a fan of Hard Times so far.
Yeah.
That sounds so stupid. I'm a fan of Hard Times. I like Hard Times.
If depression hurts, Cymbalta can't help.
I'm not doing an impression of Dusty Rhodes. What did you say? What?
I said if depression hurts, Cymbalta can help.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, yes. I love Hard Times. Now give me them pills. Okay. Anyway, so far, Hard Times, the event has been pretty good. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm really excited about next week's matchups.
Do you
Immortal
have written
and Blunt
down?
Force Trauma.
Okay, that was the one I wanted to talk about. So with the whole stipulation of, in order for the Immortals to get a shot at the world titles, they have to vacate the U.S. tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
And Kratos said, the only way we're vacating them is right in front of you. Once they're in the ring and they're ready to go, that's when we'll go, okay, we are no longer the U.S. tag title champs. Because what happens if the Immortals lose? So they've lost their U.S. tag titles, and now they've lost the opportunity at world tag titles. What are they going to do? Are they going to try to go back at the U.S. tag titles? Or are they going to continue against...
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what do you do with the U.S. tag titles after this? Do you present the winner of the Crockett Cup? Because you have the Crockett Cup coming up very, very soon, a tag team tournament. Do you present them with the Crockett Cup and the U.S. tag titles? Or do you do some kind of separate tournament, or just put the top 2 contender teams facing each other? I don't know.
That's what I'm more or less thinking that they might do. Is put
and wouldn't it be? It would be very convoluted if they end up putting the Mortals back in.
I
Because
mean,
Immortals
technically
don't
they would
beat
have
Blunt
a.
Force Trauma. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. So I would almost, to me, I would give them to the Crockett Cup winners.
I feel like if you win the Crockett Cup, you should be going after the World Tag Titles, not the U.S. Tag
Yeah, and
Titles.
it does cheapen the actual Crockett Cup, the physical Crockett Cup that the tag team receives. So I don't know if you go in that direction either. It's kind of poor timing, I guess.
I would say that more than likely it's going to be a team versus Daisy Kill and Talos because they were
Yeah,
going right after the U.S. Tag Titles again, and they called out the Immortals, and I think that's the only lot. But who is that second team to go after it? I have a feeling, and this
I don't
is
know. Tim Storm's got a mystery partner next week. I don't know what that's all about.
yeah,
Um,
that's kind of weird.
Chastain
Then
must be hurt. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, you got well, Murdoch and Mox because they supposedly can't challenge Blunt Force Trauma for the World Tag Team Championships. So got them there. I don't know.
but if they were to, if BFT were to ever lose the tag straps, then Knox and Murdoch can go right after the world tag titles again
That's
because
true.
it's
Yes,
not
you got a lot to
BFT.
play around with. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Next week will be an interesting episode. I think it's probably the least interesting as far as matchup wise, like or in ring maybe. Just looking at next week's episode, there's some good matchups, but there's some stuff I'm looking forward to a little bit more on Hard Times, like Thrillbilly and EC3. That's going to be great. That'll probably be like season finale stuff, I'm guessing. And Murdoch's and Knox against the Southern Six in a steel cage match. That's coming up at Hard Times. So we've got some like really, really cool matchups coming up. I'm looking forward to it. Kenzie Page, she's defending her championship against Natalia at one of the episodes. So there's a lot of great matchups coming up in the next few weeks for Powerrr. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, as am I. It just things that are building up and things that are to come has got me excited for okay, after hard times, what are we going to see? What is next for the
Right.
NWA? So leading into the Crockett Cup, I should say. So I think it's just a matter of time until all the dust settles of hard times
Right.
that we will see what is to come.
I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. But buddy, I got to get out of here. My wife is here and she's going to be like, what are you doing? You didn't tell me you were doing a podcast. What's going on? So I got to get out of here. I had fun. I can't wait till next week. And all the people out there, all the audience, I love you.
We love you and
Thank you
thank
for
you for
sticking around.
listening, baby.